Welcome to another Talks with Toby. I am Jim, and that's Toby. He's going to town with his Frisbee here. Quick shout out to Kim if you're out there listening, as she inspired this talk about secondary or vicarious trauma and in the importance of embedding SEL and mental health support teams within every school, period. Unfortunately, we all know that no community is immune to violence, and it seems we are raising a generation of children in what I call half-staffed nation. Kim's school had such an incident where an 8-year-old was shot to death while attending a local high school football game, and each time these events occur, teachers, like any other first responders, are impacted in what is called secondary or vicarious trauma. Kim, a teacher at one of these schools, understood the need to bring other teachers in her school community together before returning to school, so she opened up her home over the weekend so the adults could both process the event and plan out how they were going to best address the needs of their students, which led me to ponder a few thoughts here. I started teaching 25 years ago. It was rare to see a student lose their life, and when they did, it usually was the result of an accident, terminal disease, or suicide. In those cases, crisis counselors were made available for a few days. Unfortunately, this is no longer the world we live in, which means we no longer can continue in this reactive crisis response mode. For teachers like Kim, they are searching for answers to some very heavy subjects involving mental health. As schools become proficient with intruder drills and simulations, we mustn't forget about applying the same efforts within our school communities with attending to the adult mental health needs and prioritizing teacher self-care. Let's take a look at how SAMHSA defines trauma in terms of the 3E, which is the event or the events, the experience it had, and the lasting effects it had on that individual. Also keep in mind that people are impacted differently from the same event. So what does all of this mean to us educators? Well, it means that mental health supports in our schools need to be personalized, ongoing, proactive, with pre-existing relational on-site support teams. I'm not saying we don't need external crisis team, because we still do. I am saying if that is all we do, then our approach becomes nothing more than a triage or mass unit approach. We spend a small fortune each year on curriculum and professional development. If we fail to address secondary trauma and not make teacher wellness a priority, all that money will be wasted if teachers don't stay in the profession to teach it. Getting back to Kim and how she opened up her home to other teachers. I applaud Kim and all the other teachers navigating through these new landscapes. However, if we truly value those that take care of our children, school leaders need to provide them with the expert guidance to any event prior to the crisis. And all you have to do is look at some of the great football coaches to understand this principle. Why doesn't Nick Saban's Alabama teams freak out when they fumble in the red zone? Because their defense has already practiced for this event to occur. Our teachers already have a full load. Plus, they are not properly trained with designing playbooks in this area. It's up to school leaders to provide each school with expert coaches. SAMHSA and other sites like NCTSN websites all provide great tools for school leaders in this area. And finally, I always end our talks with make self-care a priority as your students are depending upon it. This is one subject where that is more so true than any others. So with that, teachers, make sure you are taking care of yourself, because your students are definitely depending upon your wellness. With that, Toby and I bid you peace.